Hello, fine folks, and welcome to Booghy Plays. This evening, I am not playing. The evening in Romania. Whole other times around the world. Um, I'm playing with questions tonight, and my guest tonight is the designer of creatures and cupcakes and Gangster's Dilemma, and a more known game which is called Sagrada, and as far as I know, a real success which was Sagrada. And Sagrada, I think soon we're going to finally, I hope, get Sagrada. A legacy game where dice explodes. Uh, so my guest tonight is Adrian Adamescu. Welcome, Adrian, to Booghy Plays. How are you? How do you feel?
Uh, thank, thank you for having me. I feel great. It's good to see you again.
We did this interview a while ago. I think in more than a year ago, maybe 2 years ago.
More than
Yeah,
maybe something like that.
we did it in Romanian, and now we're somehow redoing it. I hope you forgot my questions the first time, and you come with a fresh
It's been a
perspective.
while, yes.
uh, how is it? You're in Canada right now, so it's 3 o'clock.
Yes. Yeah.
Montreal,
In the afternoon.
Montreal, no, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Um,
Yeah. It's near Toronto.
Near Toronto. So
Yeah.
how is it hot there?
It's okay. It's up and down, it seems. We made a membership to the swimming pool nearby. And one day it's really hot and we go to the pool, and the other day it seems that it's not hot enough to go to the pool. So it keeps
I see.
changing on us.
Um, well, I hope you're feeling fine. All right. We played some games together, so we're accustomed to each other. You're not a stranger here at Booghy Plays, so
Yes,
um,
yes.
you're feeling. I hope you're feeling good, and I hope you're ready
Yeah.
for the questions.
Some tough questions, yeah.
Some really tough questions. The first part of the interview is the one, let's say, about you, and the second part is the questionnaire. But with the first part, we try to talk a bit about how you end up where you are now. And I'm going to start with, of course, where were you born and where did you grow up?
So I was born in Romania in Timișoara, and my parents immigrated to Canada when I was 13 years old.
So that is what year? What year did you immigrate?
1994.
I
So
see.
it's been a
It's
while.
been a while.
Yeah.
And so you grew up in Timișoara practically until you
Yeah,
were
I grew
13.
up in Timișoara, and we also lived, before we came to Canada, we lived a couple of years in Germany as well. So,
Where
yeah.
Germany?
München, Augsburg,
I see.
that area, more the Bavaria region.
And how was your because well you had a big part of your childhood in Romania. How was
Yeah.
it? How was it growing in Timișoara? This is let's
Yeah,
say in the west part of Romania.
right, the west part of Romania. Yeah, I have very fond memories of playing with my cousins, and I went to school there, grades one, two, and three. So it was nice. My grandparents lived in a small village nearby, so we would go there every weekend and play with the animals and work in the field and things like that. So very, very fond memories I have. Yeah. And we go visit. We go visit every 3, 4 years. So
If it's not a
last
pandemic.
time I went to Romania, yeah, last time I came to Romania was before the pandemic. We still have family that we're visiting. So,
Uh,
yeah.
so continue, please.
Yeah, so very fun and fond memories of my childhood. Yeah, I had a wonderful childhood. No complaints. Just playing with cousins and
Playing outside more
first 2 years of
than
school.
playing outside
Pardon?
or playing outside
Yeah,
or
yes.
yeah as
Yes,
we
playing outside, but also since this is like a board game, I loved to play chess and Yahtzee with my parents and table, backgammon.
backgammon, yeah.
Uh, yeah, all the classics, as well as Remy. Yeah, it. I remember one evening where a bunch of the kids' neighborhood came to our apartment, and we played Yahtzee, and my mom introduced them to Yahtzee, and there was something new for our neighbors. So it was great. Yeah, I had
Hmm.
a very nice childhood.
And you went to Germany at what age?
I was about 9, 10, 11, that age. Yeah.
And how did this change transformed you or put a stamp on you or had a significant impact on you?
Yeah, it did because well, first of all, I learned a new language, so I learned German and I picked it up quite quickly going to school there. And when we came to Canada, I actually continued my German studies in high school, as well as university. I took some German courses just to keep it fresh in my mind. And even now, I look at some German videos just to refresh it in my mind. I like to learn and be able to speak, uh, an extra language. So I'm also trying to learn French right now a little bit because I live in Canada. So,
And
but
you're
it's not as easy to learn when you're 40 plus. But the German I picked up quite quickly.
yeah, because nah, you're a child. And
Yeah.
how much you are your parents were in the army or something when they moved, or they were officials since they moved from Romania to Germany, and then
Yeah, no, it's just after the revolution in Romania. I have a German cousin. He's half German. So we tried to, my dad especially was always looking to the West, to immigrate. And so that, you know, going to Germany, I also visited my cousin, and there was kind of a step toward moving west. And I remember my dad applied and had interviews for different uh, places to immigrate. So he had a Canada interview, an Australia interview, I think even New Zealand at some point. So he was looking, I guess, toward the English speaking,
side of the world.
you know, art side of the world. Yeah,
I see. And yeah, well, you ended up in Germany. How many years did you stay in Germany?
about 2 years.
About 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you moved to Canada.
Yeah.
And how was that cultural change again? How did that hit you again?
Yeah, it was, I think it was a bigger change than the transition from Romania to Germany. It wasn't quite as big. I mean, Timișoara was, under the Austro-Hungarian Empire
Yeah,
at some point
point.
in history, and yeah, and there were a lot of Germans in our town, and so I think the bigger change was coming to Canada. But we did find a Romanian community in the area, and I continued going to German school, and so I think it took me a while to uh, become friends with people from here. So the transition was more, I became friends with people I knew from the more European background and culture. So, but eventually,
You have
going through high school and university, that also Canada is very, very multicultural. So we have every nation under the sun here represented. So
I see.
It's beautiful that way too. You find your place quite quickly.
I see. And how did this during this period? How was did you find games? Did you find outside what you
I
played with your parents? Did you play
I
with other when you moved to Germany and then to moving a lot? Did you find
yeah,
stability through
yeah.
something?
Yeah. It's I mean, I remember in Germany being introduced to newer games that I've never seen. We made good friends with an American family in Germany, and knowing that we didn't have so many things, we were the immigrants. They donated actually a lot of games to us, and I remember playing Guess Who with my sister and some other board games that weren't quite as popular. Yeah, so um, but I mean that didn't really have a big impact on me. It's just we were passing time, me and my sister playing um, the games that we received. But I think the biggest intro to the game world was when I was married, and that was
We're gonna
my
get
wife.
there. We're gonna
We're
get
gonna
there.
get there.
Yeah.
All right, I won't
Don't go
skip
too fast.
anything.
Don't go too fast.
Yeah, but
Uh,
we're still in the childhood. I get
yeah,
it. Yeah.
and
So I do remember as a teenager, though. I mean, in high school, I was part of the chess team and the chess club, so it was more of those traditional games that I was playing.
so you're practically in a way you are a gamer without even knowing it because playing chess
Right.
all the time, you were a
Right.
gamer.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and let's say the your sister was your main culprit when it came
Hmm.
to to
Yeah,
play.
and my parents, they played quite they really enjoyed Remy and a bunch of other card games that we were playing when we were going on vacation and things like that. So I got introduced to games quite early, but just more the classic games.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And what did you study in Canada in school
Yeah.
in university?
So in university, I went for science and math. So I started as a mathematician, and then I kind of transitioned into more of the sciences. I wanted to become a teacher, so I needed two teachables. So math and science were going to be my teachables. But then I got into research, and I did my master's and my PhD as well in chemistry, and that was interesting being in that research world. So and even now I work part-time as a researcher. So
In chemistry? In chemistry still?
atmospheric, yeah. It's a bit more about the atmosphere and atmospherical chemistry, I would say. Yeah.
So you practically are you're a scientist, all in all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Into sciences, and during your I don't know when did you when did you find the modern board games?
Yeah.
What they
So
called
that's
modern? Yeah.
yeah, that's when I was married. So we were looking for a new hobby to do together, and we started buying little games here and there that we found, and that was an enjoyable time. Um, but the biggest change, I would say, was when our first daughter was born. We didn't have as much time to go out to a restaurant or the movies. We were stuck in the house more. Um, so with the little baby, and we had time, for a board game at the end of the day. I mean, we could have watched a movie, but it's that end of the day, half an hour to an hour games, and that's kind of still what I like. I don't like very long games. I like games that play in under an hour. Last night even we played Cascadia, and it was great to
I see.
get into
I
into
see.
it. So that's how we started. It's a hobby that we shared, and our collection kept growing, and we got introduced to. I found out about the Spiel des Jahres, and then I looked more into the kinds of games that won awards, and that really got us going. So we started with things like Quirkle, and kept going to the more advanced Carcassonne and Catan, and
So
um,
Quirkle was the
yeah,
one who cooked. Who? What was your first game? The one the hook. Which game
the
was the hook into the hobby?
which game was the hook for us?
Yeah.
Uh, um, yeah, it's a bit dull. I think it's Blockers, because we bought Blockers, we really enjoyed it. We played it even online at the time, and one day um, I see all these people coming to the chat to where I was playing Blockers, and I asked the question, why are so many people visiting? I mean, watching us play. And it turned out they came to watch me play because I was playing with the designer of Blockers. And at the time, I didn't really think about, where games come from. I didn't think, but there's a mind behind the game. And I was so fascinated with the idea that I met the designer of Blockers that I kept asking him questions, and he answered them very kindly, and he ended up being a scientist, and like myself. So it was so prophetic in a way. This was my path too. He left kind of the sciences to design games, and I pretty much did the same thing. So although I still do a little bit of research, it's very part-time, and I'm a full-time
Designer
game
today.
designer now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you
So,
started with an abstract, practically. This Blocos is an.
yeah, with an abstract Blockers, yeah.
And what games you started to play more and more, and which games did you start enjoying more?
Yeah. So we really enjoyed the two-player Uwe Rosenberg games. So like the Agricola and Caverna and Patchwork, and so those were games that would play in 30, 40 minutes. And that's really what we had time
Agricola,
for with little kids.
all creatures big and small, and Caverna, cave versus cave, because those are for two player. Those ones you're
Yes,
talking about.
yes. We also played the big. I love Agricola in general, so we also played the big version. But it's we. I think we played uh, the smaller game,
More.
3 or 4 times more than the bigger game. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, it's easier to play. It's faster to. It's fast to play. It's really
yeah,
fast. Once you know the
it's
game,
faster.
it's fast and satisfying.
Yeah, fast and satisfying. And it also, especially with the Agricola, I really appreciate how everything makes sense in the game. You get wood, so you can build a fence, and you have two animals, which can become three animals. You get a
Well,
baby
well,
animal,
you
and
need to have
you
at
have to
least two.
feed.
But if you have six, you still get one.
Yeah, you still get one, right? Yeah, there's an abstractness there, but the more kids you have, the more you have to feed them. So
Yeah.
it all makes sense, and that's the type of theme
That.
that matches really, really well, very thematic
Uh,
in the actions you take.
yeah. Well, Agricola is a special game, but and I think I would talk a year about it. But let's go to you.
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
it's definitely in my top three still. Yeah,
uh,
Agricola.
what kind of player are you today? Are you more
I
social? Are you more?
enjoy.
Are you an omni gamer? You like certain maybe Euros, maybe I don't know hybrid games.
We tend to prefer Euros, yeah, and smaller puzzle games, and usually quicker games that play in under an hour. But we do enjoy every now and then, maybe once a month or once every 2 months, we pull out a bigger game like Castles of Burgundy or or Lyon or
I see.
something bigger like that. So we do enjoy a bit meatier
A midweight euro.
games,
Midweight
but
euro, yeah.
yeah, midweight. Yeah, I wouldn't like if you think of the BG rating from 1 to 5, I
Around
would
three.
say we don't pass.
Yeah.
Around
Yeah.
3, yeah. Between 2 and 3 is like my comfort level.
Yes. And
Yeah. I prefer games with very little setup too, if possible, because I mean setup and cleaning up is part of everything. So
I like the
uh,
fact that you always say we. You're practically the way you say you're always tied to your to tied
yeah,
with your
yeah,
wife.
yeah. We play a lot together. So she's my number one. Even playtesting, most games that I try first with her, and then I take it out in the public. But we also started playing with the kids now, and we have 4 kids, and I really appreciate games that play up to 6 players now. So it's not something I looked for before, but now if I want to make a trade or I want to buy a game, that's one of the first things I look. Does it play up to 6? So
uh, uh,
yeah,
but the kids are. Do you have the triples or if they're the same age?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You.
yeah. We have
I have
twins.
twins.
Yeah, so we have
A couple
yeah,
of
we
twins.
have our youngest, a couple of
Yeah.
twins. Yeah, they're almost 9,
I see.
and we also have a almost 5-year-old and an almost 11
Ah,
year
I
old.
see.
So,
I see.
but now we started even the 5-year-old uh, started, being part of our game nights. So, he holds the cards and rolls the dice, and we don't, he can do whatever he wants. But the fact that he's part of our group, um, it's very enjoyable to sit down with the family and play a 6-player game.
I
So,
see. I see. That's nice.
uh,
That's a
yeah,
nice evening. You practically
yeah, it's
made your own
beautiful.
group of gamers
Yeah, yeah, I have my gamers every night.
until they go
Yeah,
to college. They're yours.
and yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
I under my control still.
so when now let's go a bit towards the profession. Uh, you became a gamer. When did the bulb went up and said, "Okay, I would like to design"?
Yeah. So it is part of us playing, so my wife and I. And one night we were playing a game that I looked at the back of the box, and it had the biography of the game designer, and it said he was a first-time game designer. The game is Hawaii.
Uh-huh. I see. 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 Good
Um,
game. Good game.
it's a very good game, and I enjoyed playing it even online. And I bought the game, and we played it for the first time, and we enjoyed it. And looking at the back of the box with his biography, I said, maybe I can. This is a first-time game designer. He made a good game. Maybe I can make something
The
like that.
scientist
And I
said.
asked my
The scientist inside
yeah,
you
the
said,
scientist. Yeah,
"Where can I
yeah,
go wrong?"
and maybe that's part of being a scientist too. We want to know how things work and
Yep.
how they develop. And so I wanted to give it a try and asked my wife, what theme do you think I should make my game about? And she said architecture, because she's an interior architect. So I tried my best, and I think it was uh, in a way I was trying to impress her by making this game about architecture, and that game eventually became Speakeasy Blues, which is which also got published. I
Yeah,
later
but
joined
uh,
forces with Daryl Andrews and got that game published. But it started out just me working with things, and it took a lot of years to get that game
uh,
done. And
so your
yeah,
first published game was, you kind of asked answered one of my questions. Your first public game is published game is I know
that wasn't the first
no.
published game. My first published game was Rival Kings. 2016, I believe. Um, and that's just a little card game that a German company picked up.
I see. And how did that feel to get? That was okay. It wasn't your biggest success, but how did that feel to see your prototype transformed into a game?
Yeah, it's a great feeling. So it it showed that yes, this is a viable option. Uh, until now, I, I mean, I have to give credit to my wife because she saw me working on things and she tested with me for so many years. And she could have said, this is just a dream, just go and think about your job or your kids and your family and something like that. She could have said,
Yeah,
but she was very
supportive.
supportive of what I was doing, and seeing that first contract and signing that first contract, that's a special feeling because it shows, hey, I'm it shows that what you've done is, people find it interesting,
Yeah,
and
they want to publish it.
yeah,
And
right.
now, do you put on a developer's hat when you design your games, or do you go you have a developer? How do you work, and how important do
Yeah.
you think is a developer
So
to a game?
not not in the first few games. So the first few games I developed wasn't with that mindset. But now, and I've worked as a developer in the past for a few games now. Um, so even games that I don't have, it's not my
Not your
design,
design,
but
yeah,
it's other people's
yeah.
design. Yeah, so I've done a few of those projects as well. So right now I do think about both sides, but the first few games were just mechanics and how things work, and yeah.
So now, how do you think it's important a developer today in this very competitive
It's
market, where when a game
Yes,
has
yeah,
to come
I would say
right
it's
out of the gate?
yeah. Well, I mean, if you have a really unique idea, I don't think development is, and even games that we thought were well developed, you know, the publisher may want to go in a different direction and change the theme, and that has a bunch of domino effects down the development road. So, um, uh, I think if you can do both and you have that experience, it's great. A more developed, streamlined game looks good, no matter how uh, when you present it, it's just playing smooth and everything is fine. But I mean, for new designers that are getting started, it's just about get your game ready and to be able to show it to somebody and uh, get it out of your head first, put it down on paper and make sure you move things around and see how it play tests, because many times it sounds great in your head, it works, but as soon as you play it, you notice that there's problems. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you can get a small playtest group, yeah, that's very important when designing and developing.
And what is your design philosophy? Do you have one? Did you create one during since you've been doing this?
Um, yeah, I mean, many times I just get ideas from what I see, or I wouldn't say I have necessarily a philosophy. Uh, so I guess
Do you start with a
you can
theme? Do you
say
start with mechanisms? Do you think of different
I I I start I start with both. So for a game like Sagrada, I started it was completely mechanical.
mathematical?
But other games I started with theme and they ended up going in the right direction. But I like mechanics more. So if I was to choose one side, I'll try to think about mechanics before, and then I dress it up in a theme. but I've done it both ways, so I can't really say that one works better than the other. I tend to like maybe my scientific mathematical mind. That's the way it works. Um, that I like the mechanics. Think about that first, but
And
both ways work.
what do you feel about what do you like as a philosophy? I think this is a philosophy of design. How much randomness do you like in a game? How much how does the randomness does need to balance somehow? How do you feel about that when you're designing a game?
Yeah. Well, I do tend to enjoy dice games more than other games. So there's definitely more randomness with dice, but there needs to be ways to remove just the luck factor. So there needs to be ways to mitigate dice and things like drafting and special powers that allow you to do things to the dice and whatever the random draw of the cards. That's important.
Uh,
Otherwise, you just have, you roll dice and whatever you get, you get.
and did you how is it to you've worked you did Sagrada, you did with Daryl Andrews,
Yep.
the new game which you are going to which will come out I think next year, Mistwind, am I right? Mistwind, no, this is
Uh,
yeah,
Mistwind. Yeah,
Mistwind.
yeah. That's
It's
yeah.
it should come out, I don't know, I haven't 2023, no, it should come out next year.
Yeah. It should come out. Yeah. There will be a Kickstarter for it at some point. I'm not sure where
Oh,
that will be.
it is still with Darren Andrews. Do you prefer
Yes.
to work with in a team more than you prefer to
Yeah.
work?
I That's correct. Yeah, I prefer working with somebody when I work on a project. It speeds things up so much. You split the work, of course, and you have somebody you can play test with all the time that's really into it. Right? It's tougher to get play testers that are just people that are not as involved in the project. So we know right away what works, what doesn't, because we're playtesting it together. And just, I have certain ideas, Daryl has other ideas, and I co-design with others as well. But it's just it there's something about working with another person that it brings something unique. So um, even for Sagrada, it wouldn't have been what it is because Sagrada was, I told you, this mechanical game that was about mosaics, and the stained glass theme was Daryl's idea. So um,
Yeah,
I mean,
I see.
the bringing two minds together is way better
Done one.
than one.
Even if one
Yeah.
is a scientist with a PhD.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even.
So
And usually you touched a bit about this, but where your ideas come from, and how do they end up in the game?
well, now it's very different again because we get contracts and we get approached by publishers who want something very specific. So then we're very limited, right? But that can also be a good thing that we know what the publisher wants, we know what the game has to be about, so we have to work with those restrictions. And other times you just get inspired by what you see or by another game, and I you just start from there. And the 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 thing has to be that unique uh, thing that you think is unique, at least that you have to start out with and then grow from there. So I think that's how
I see.
that's how a lot of the games start.
Uh,
For Sagrada, for example, it was my background in mathematics. I loved
Sudoku.
um, graph theory. There's a theorem called the color theorems, and the game just started
From
from that idea.
Yeah, but okay. Can you explain it really fast? The colors.
Yeah, so the color theorems would say that if you have a map, um, you can color the regions of that map in 4 colors or 5 colors without the colors touching each other. So the that's the idea. So it's been proven that 4 colors is the maximum.
Needed.
I mean,
Needed.
the max needed or the minimum number of colors needed to draw in any type of map. So it started from there. And I was thinking, what if I can do that with dice on a grid, where no 2 adjacent colors will touch.
I see.
So, it was a simple idea, and it just grew from there. I was driving while I was having the idea, and I went straight to the local game store and bought 100 dice because I wanted to test it out. So the idea just came to me.
In a second.
Wait, that great course I took in university, the color theorems. Why not with dice? So
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. Now I have a serious question for you. What is
Yeah.
fun to you? To you?
What is fun?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's fun can be different things for
People.
different people. Yeah. So for me, especially at this point in my life, I think being able to spend quality time with the family and the kids, going on walks, playing games.
In
We went to
games.
play basketball the
I
other
see.
day.
I
Pardon?
see. I see.
Oh,
In
in
games. Yeah.
games,
I'm more in games.
in
Yeah.
games
Yeah.
particular. Yeah. Um, yeah, I love that idea of chaos, like things like dice, but that I'm bringing together to build something and to create something. Uh, for example, I'm not a big fan of race games that just finish and you're done. I more like to look at what I've created at the end. A game like Sagrada, you see your window, or like Cascadia, or Castles of Burgundy or Agricola, where you see what you've created during the game. It doesn't even matter if you win or you lose. Just spending time creating the best you can uh, out of what you're given. So that's really fun for me. Just a little puzzle, a little something to think about, but I want to see something at the end of the game that's been created.
Oh, I see. Um, and you like basketball? You're a fan of I think the Toronto Raptors are there, no? No.
Yeah, the Toronto Raptors. I wouldn't say I'm a basketball fan, but it's something that we do with the kids when they just started, so
I see.
it's
Uh,
we have to keep them
yeah,
active.
well, I think they were champions a few years ago. Um, yeah,
Yeah, they did really well a few
yeah,
years
yeah,
ago, right? Yeah.
yeah. Okay, let's talk about what is your and let me ask you, what is your most played game?
Well, it has to be Sagrada, especially now
Outside
but I'll
yours,
have to think of another one.
outside yours.
Not one that's the one that's not mine. Um, Maybe Agricola or Castles of Burgundy, one of the two,
I see.
for sure.
And your favorite game? Out of one you talked about, outside Sagrada, of course.
Yeah, yeah. No, I wouldn't choose one of mine. Um, Maybe Castles of Burgundy or Agricola again. It's a tough choice between the two. Maybe Castles of Burgundy.
And um, um, would you? I have asked you some questions, but I might have missed one or two questions. Would you want one or two things? Maybe you would have wanted to talk about. Um, is there something which I did not ask you and you would like to speak about?
Hmm. I can't really think about what else. I mean, you've done a great job. That means, um, yeah, maybe advice for new designers, but I think I said a little bit of that as well. Um,
Do you think it's
yeah,
hard for new
the, the,
designers today to come to the market, being inundated with so many games?
yeah, yeah, and it's been tough for me as well. Just so you get an idea, we used to sign maybe 2, 3 games a year, and now over the past 3 years, maybe I signed one. So it's been tough with the pandemic and I get fewer conventions and things like that. Um, um, yeah, and that's not for the lack of not working. I've actually created more games during the pandemic, but it's been a little tough. But you have to you have to get your game out there, and that's the best you can do. You have to have that prototype and that rule book that you can send. And I also started learning Tabletop Simulator and how to put the games on there and make little videos to demonstrate how it works to publishers and things like that.
I see. So in a way, it's good for new designers to learn to well, make their game appeal more than others.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
So that's a good advice. That's good advice. Now I want to go to my questionnaire. We have finished
Mhm.
this part. I hope you, well, you had a nice time until now. Now this questionnaire
Yeah.
was invented by Proust, and it has a two part. Then it was taken by Bernard Pivot, and then by James Lipton, who made it quite famous through a show which is Inside Actor Studio. I don't know if you've ever seen one
Mhm.
of one of those episodes. And a
Mhm.
lot of people ask me, why do you ask this questionnaire? Because, well, I'm not going to say why I'm asking it. Uh, because I like doing that thing and letting people
Yeah.
go nuts.
I think I remember something about it from my last interview with you. Um,
But so
yeah,
let's go to it. You can,
maybe answers changed since
yeah,
then.
probably, who knows? But that
Yeah,
was in Romanian. Now it's in English. So
yeah.
my first question to you: what's your favorite word?
Um, yeah, I guess it's different. It's different now in English
In
versus
Romanian,
Romanian. Yeah, I'm not sure what I said in Romanian. Was it
I have no idea.
yeah,
I did not watch it.
yeah, uh my favorite word. Wow. Um yeah, words kind of give you when you say a word, I picture things in my head. So um I mean something like nature, because I see um
Yep, I understand why.
galaxy, things that evoke something. Uh, yeah. So, and things that I can picture. For example, if I say galaxy, I think I love astronomy as well.
Yep,
So
yeah.
maybe a word like that, nature or galaxy, or um, a library where people learn and read. And so maybe those are the kinds of
Words that you
words
like.
that I like.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is your least favorite word?
Least favorite word. Wow. Um, just because I'm such a visual person, probably things that are disgusting and dirty and uh, yeah. So a word like that, I can't think of one right now, but there's plenty that I don't know which one would be
Choose one.
the
Choose
least.
one.
Choose one.
You always have to choose one.
Um, yeah. Um, I don't know, something like
Dirt.
dirt or uh,
Yeah, but
yeah,
dirt is nice.
garbage
Garbage.
or something. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess.
When you say dirt cheap, well, that's good.
Yeah, yeah.
What turns you on creatively, emotionally, spiritually?
Um, yeah, so like I said, I like nature. I like spending time with the family. I'm a bit more introverted and yeah, I think those walks through nature and spending time with the family and a game night, those are things I
And
enjoy.
what turns you off?
Oh, there's always the opposite,
Yeah.
yeah. Phew. What turns me off? I don't know. Um, what turns me off? I should have thought about these. I knew you might ask them. Um, mm, I don't like gossip, for example. It's something not I enjoy in conversation.
Yeah, that's a good
Um,
thing.
so
Yeah,
I
that's a
guess
big
that's
turn
a
off.
turn
Yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's good.
So
It's good.
that's
What is your favorite curse word?
okay. Now I definitely
Yeah,
remember from last time. But I don't swear. I
you
don't.
don't.
It's not something I do.
Well, you must. It
It's
necessarily.
just,
It's not necessarily to do a because you say a curse word. It's not your favorite swear word. It's curse word. You know.
yeah.
You don't need to swear.
Um,
You can
I
curse.
yeah, I don't curse. Yeah, I don't know. It's not something I use in my everyday language, so
Well,
it's
when you slip it,
I I don't know if I can pick one.
yeah, you have more. If you cannot pick one, you have more.
If I had to pick
Yeah.
one, um, it's not a curse word, but I remember people um saying I they tried to imitate me at some point, and I used to say, oh man," and I mean
It
that's
had.
they imitated me. Yeah, so I've never noticed when I was speaking that I was saying that, but that's
Uh,
something that
I
I
see.
I guess I said a lot because
Uh,
they found it funny when
I see. So instead of curse words, you just said, "Oh man, oh
yeah.
man." I see. When you are disappointed, you said, "Oh man." Yeah.
Ah,
Uh,
yeah. Oh man, come
uh,
on. Come
what
on.
sound or noise do you love?
Ooh, that's a nice one. Maybe bird songs or the beach, that the waves coming in, that's nature again, nature sounds,
Nature.
thunderstorm, rain, um, crickets.
And what sound or noise do you hate?
Yeah, there's always that opposite. What do I hate? What do I hate? Well, now as a parent, whenever uh, you hear the kids screaming, you get into a bit of a panic, because is there something wrong? I remember the other day I worked from home and the window is open and we have a bunch of kids in the neighborhood, and I heard some screaming and they're like, "Whoa, oh, what's wrong?" And they were just playing, but it sounded like they were being hit by a car or something. So
Yeah.
that
The
that
sound
that
of a
that
scared
type of
child.
yeah, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Which profession outside the one you already do, or the ones you already do, would you like to attempt?
Yeah, I always liked teaching. That was kind of my and I've tutored a lot in my life. So I think
You already did that. Something which you already
teaching
did not do.
that I
Yeah,
haven't
that you
done.
haven't done.
Oh, okay, something that I
Yep.
haven't done. Um, I think something. with your hands. So a lot of my work is very with my head,
Yeah.
right? But something more hands-on, like woodworking or something. I remember when I was a kid, if you would ask me what I wanted to become, I would say a carpenter, because I've seen my friend's dad was a carpenter, and he came to fix something in our house, a bed, and I was so fascinated by watching him, with the hammer and nails and putting things together. So I something with my hands like that, hands on, where you don't have to think so much and stare in front of a computer.
And
So
yeah,
yeah.
what profession outside the ones you already did you would not like to attempt?
Yeah. Um, maybe, work that is very noisy and um, um, like at a bar or uh, with a lot of people or just a lot of noise. You know, yeah,
Yep, I
I
understand.
don't
I
think
see. I see.
I would do that.
I see.
Yeah,
And my last question to you is, if, and this is a big if heaven exists,
yeah,
what do you expect God to say
yeah.
to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
What do I
Yes.
expect? I don't expect, but I would hope that he says something like, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Well, you've done something with your life. Um, you didn't waste it."
Yeah. Um, well, and with that, I will end this interview here. And I want to first thank you for your time. I know your time is precious, working on so many games. I hope
Yeah.
uh,
Thank
I
you.
hope you had a good time here in my
Excellent.
virtual gaming room in these virtual comfy chair. This comfy chairs. This is this
Yes, I can see them right below here.
you are sitting in one. I hope you felt
Yeah.
comfortable. Uh,
Yeah.
and I hope we see each other. Maybe we already played together Sagrada once. We played something else. I think I don't know what we played. Uh,
Did
yeah,
we?
I think we
Yeah.
did. We played something. I don't know
Yeah.
what else we played. So let's
Yeah.
hopefully we will play another game this way.
Yeah.
Because yeah,
Yeah.
being uh,
Yeah. I think we had the top
yeah,
10
we did the top 10. Yeah,
top 10,
yes, we did the
yes.
top
Yeah.
10, and I think we'll do another one also. Thank you very much for helping me.
Yeah, great.
Thank you for being my first patron. You were my first patron for the channel, and I want to thank you for that.
Yeah.
It kept me
Yeah.
going and gave me
Yeah. That's great.
a feeling that it's appreciated from someone who is in the
Yeah,
industry.
the work is
Yeah,
appreciated, sure. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
well, we will see each other. If you're ever in Romania, as always, you are welcome.
Yeah. You live in
Yeah, yeah, I
Bucharest,
live in
right?
Bucharest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes,
So,
yes,
yeah.
Radu, yes, Radu, you are late. If you just came in, you are late. uh,
Hello, Radu.
and I want to thank you again for being here. I will do an outro, and then I will kindly ask you to not to turn off the camera. We will talk a bit afterwards. Thank you again.
Of course. You're welcome.
And if you want to say something to the people who watched, I will let you, and then I will finish it.
I got nothing more to say. Good job on the interview. Thank you for having me.
Uh, okay, I want to thank everybody who came and watched live. I want to thank, as always, to everybody who comes and watches after the fact. If you like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit the notification bell. It will tell you when new things are going to happen. This is the last interview for a while now. I will be going into a small vacation. I want a little bit of time off. I've been doing this for almost since October. I've been on without very little time off, and with work and everything, I kind of I'm in a sort of a burnout, and I need a bit of vacation. But in late August, will the interviews will start again, and also the playthroughs. Also, if you enjoy these interviews, please comment or find a way to tell me if you like them. And there are a few now on the channel. I hope you enjoyed them all. There are more to come. I already talked to some people from the industry. There will be more, and I am more than happy to do them. I feel very good when I do them, and I do hope the people that come here have a good time. And I hope you who watches this feel welcomed and feel at home here in this virtual situation we are in, but this is the best way we can interact, and the best way I, from somewhere in Romania, can talk with someone from Wales or close to Wales, or maybe someone from Toronto or Barcelona, or and so on, Italy, Milano, and so on. Until next time, all I can say to all of you is to play a lot, play loads, have fun, and bye bye world, wherever you are.